The year was 1965, and I was learning how to drive a car at 19. That's pretty old, isn't it? But, well, we had an old Morris 8. It's a imported British car. As I was saying before, second and third and fourth hand, I don't know. But it ran well. And it had nice wooden floor and leather seats and all that. But anyways, I was being taught how to drive by our neighbor's father. We used to call him Naik Kaka. Now, he was a truck driver, believe it or not, and a retired truck driver. Used to wear a lungi and a little T-shirt. And he was, he spoke good English, so we had no problem communicating. He also spoke Hindi, typical Bombay type Hindi. I remember 2 or 3 things. One was, see, I sweat a lot. Whenever I'm concentrating on something, I sweat. It's just me, it's the every time I would sit in the car, especially in Mumbai, where you sweat anyway, I would sit in the car and concentrate on driving. I would sweat profusely. And he would say, तुम घबरता काय को है? घबराओ मत, पसीना पसीना आता है, घबराने का क्या है? That was his typical reaction to my sweating. I told him a couple of times that it's just me, I sweat. I would sweat at home, I would sweat in the college, I would sweat in the bus, I would even sweat in an air-conditioned place. But to him, I was just gabarta hai. And another thing which I still remember and which has become a joke in our family is license मिलने के बाद तुम कैसा भी चलाओ. Whenever I would try to cut corners or do a little bit of rash driving, he would say, no, ऐसा नहीं करने का, ऐसा चलाने का. License मिलने के बाद तुम कैसा भी चलाओ. But license मिलने तक तुमको ये चलाने का है. That's a typical mentality, ना? अपनी, that कैसे भी चलाओ, license मिल जाने दो, बाद में तुम free, do anything you please. So, so these 2 things were very, he spoke it all the time, like very often. But he was a good teacher, and he taught me how to be a good driver, drive smoothly, how would use the clutch plate while shifting from gears to gear, all that. And he taught me, he said, this is dangerous, but you can do this once you are license milne ke baad. When you are driving and there is a slope, put the car in the neutral and just let it go, let it roll on its own. That way you save gas, save petrol, as they said in Mumbai. And I've done it a few times. In automatic car, you don't do that because it's not recommended. It's not very good to do it anyway because you lose control over your car. Like brake is the only. But if you are in the gear, second or third or fourth gear, at least you can shift down and bring the car to a slow speed and then eventually stop. But anyway, I was getting the hang of it. And finally, I was ready to go and get the license. Now, there were horror stories about how difficult it was to get a driver's license from RTO, Road Transport Organization. My kaka, my uncle, was member of the Western India Automobile Association. And so, as a member of the family, I could go and get my license through them. Of course, the RTA agent will examine me and test my driving But they said it'll be a lot easier. So they were just outside the Churchgate station. I went there, registered myself, and told them that I would like to get my license. I had my permit, learner's permit already. So they said, okay, come next Tuesday at 10 in the morning or 10:30. So I go there at 10:30 already. I wasn't nervous because I knew how to drive, and I could drive quite well in the Mumbai's crowded streets, Malad and all that. But I was told that these guys are tricky, the examiners. So I was kind of wondering what kind of tricks they're going to pull on me. Okay, so we start. But the car was parked behind the WIAA building outside Churchgate. I had parked it on A Street, A Road. Okay, so we take off. Fortunately, he didn't ask me who was accompanying me when I drove there. I had an answer ready. I was told to say that, okay, he's in the restaurant eating, Satkar. But he didn't bother. So we drove off. And he took me around like crazy. We must have driven for about 15, 20, half an hour almost. He took me, the most crowded place at that time was Crawford Market. And we go there and he asked me to park. And there was a fire hydrant. And I said, I can't park here. There is a fire hydrant. He said, oh, so you know that? I said, yes, sir. Then he asked me to take a left turn. So fortunately, my little old Morris, had a turn signal blinker. So I turned it on and turned. He said, why didn't you use signal? I said, I did. I used this. He said, nobody notices that. Hasn't God given you hands? I said, yes, sir. Okay, so what do you do when you want to turn left? So I said, you do this. He said, what do you do when you have to turn right? I said, you come out, stick your hand out on the right. He said, don't do it right now because people behind will think you are taking a right turn. Drive with both your hands on the steering wheel. I said, yes, sir. Don't argue with people like them, just keep on driving. Then he asked me to park. I said, but there is no parking. He said, double park. I said, I can't double park, that's illegal. So he smiled. Finally he smiled. And he said, well, no, it's okay. You go ahead and park. I have to buy something from here. So this is no trick. I'm asking you to park here. I said, okay, sir. So I park, keep the car in neutral, and wait with the handbrakes on, wait for him to finish his shopping, which he did. Like in 2 minutes he was out. He really wanted to get something. I think it was a bakery or something. And then he said, okay, let's go back. So we go back all the way to the Churchgate, near the Churchgate station area, and park the car. So he said, okay, you're good, you're all right. You have passed the test. So I had to go and pick up the license in a couple of days' time. So that is how I got my driver's license in Mumbai. Now, getting a driver's license in California was a totally different story, but that some other time. वो कहानी फिर सही.